I would say probably the number one reason that I love teaching is that, especially early childhood, is it's an awesome opportunity for us to set a foundation and give kids a tool belt that they will use for their entire life, throughout education and wherever they go. So in that tool belt, something that we do constantly and that we don't even think about as much are choices. And choices are something that we're always doing, and it's important that as teachers, we give them an understanding of what choices are and why they're making them, and positive and negative, what will come from those choices. So I did my presentation on choices, and it's funny because it's not like a tangible lesson, so it's not something where, it's not like a lesson on growing plants, but it's something that as a teacher we're always working with our students to, help them make choices, and even ourselves are making choices. So I think it's definitely an important thing that, we're putting into our classroom, and something that we should all just be aware of. So I would present mine as such. This is my pot. It's a magic pot. Do you want to see what's inside?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. I hope I didn't forget it. I know it's in there somewhere. I think she's shy. Can you guys close your eyes? Maybe she'll come out. Now you can open your eyes. This is Gracie, my dragon, and she loves reading. She brought us a book today, and should we listen to the book she has?
Yeah.
But first, I think she has some words for us. So let's see what they are. So on my word wall, I would put choice, of course. The positive, emperor, courage, that's a great word. Negative, perfume, honesty, and China. So I put China in a, I put China in a capital letter just because that's proper, and then the other ones are in lowercase. The tape fell off, so I'll just put that in there. But so you'll see that some of these words are in the book, some of them are not. So just listen along and see if you can pick up some of these words and what they mean to us. So I would start off with, this is the book, The Empty Pot. I don't know if anyone's ever read this, but this is one of my favorite books. And before we start, are all my friends sitting crisscross applesauce? Their hands in their lap? Their thinking caps on? Let's turn those listening ears up, way up high. Are we ready? This is The Empty Pot by Demi. Isn't that an interesting name? What is interesting about this name?
Where's her last name?
So
There's
it
no
just,
last name.
isn't it funny because it only has one name? And then, I would show the back, but this back's kind of boring. But anyway. So The Empty Pot. A long time ago in China. Where's China?
Where?
Is it close to us? Is it far away?
Yeah.
There was a boy named Ping who loved flowers. Anything he planted burst into bloom. Up came flowers, bushes, and even big fruit trees, as if by magic. Everyone in the kingdom loved flowers too. They planted them everywhere, and the air smelled like perfume. So what does perfume smell like?
Good.
It smells
Is it
good.
good? Can you see anything in this picture that might smell good or smell like perfume?
Flowers.
Flowers. The emperor loved birds and animals, but flowers most of all, and he tended his own garden every day. But the the emperor was very old, and he needed to choose a successor to the throne. What is an emperor?
It's like a king.
It's a king. I was reading this book to my class the other day. I put that question in there last minute because that was something I didn't think of, but they're like, what's an emperor? So, it's a king. Who would his successor be, and how would the emperor choose? Because the emperor loved flowers so much, he decided to let the flowers choose. The next day, a proclamation was issued, and all the children in the land were to come to the palace. There they would be given special flower seeds by the emperor. Whoever can show me their best in a year's time, he said, will succeed me to the throne. This news created a great excitement throughout the land. Children from all over the country swarmed to the palace to get their flower seeds. As the parents wanted their children to be chosen emperor, and all the children hoped they would be chosen too. Would you want to be chosen as the emperor? Yes, no?
Yes.
So what are some choices you might make as the emperor?
People are allowed.
I like that. Do you think it would be easy or hard maybe to make those choices?
Hard.
When Ping received his seed from the emperor, he was the happiest child of all. He was sure he could grow the most beautiful flower. Ping filled a flower pot with rich soil, and he planted the seed in it very carefully. He watered it every day. He couldn't wait to see it sprout, grow, and blossom into a beautiful flower. Why do you think he's watering the plants and taking such, or watering and putting it in soil?
It's a sneeze.
Do you think he's choosing to take care of his plant?
Mm-hmm.
What would happen if we chose not to take care of our plant?
There would not be a plant.
That'd be sad. Day after day passed, but nothing grew in his pot. Ping was very worried. He put new soil into a bigger pot. Then he transferred the seed into the rich black soil. Another 2 months he waited. Still, nothing happened. By and by, the whole year passed. Spring came, and all the children put on their best clothes to greet the emperor. They rushed to the palace with their beautiful flowers, eagerly hoping to be chosen. Ping was ashamed of his empty pot. He thought the other children would laugh at him because for once he couldn't get a flower to grow. His clever friend ran by holding a great big pot. "Ping," he said, "you're not really going to the emperor with an empty pot, are you? Couldn't you grow a great big flower like mine?" "I've grown lots of flowers better than yours," Ping said. "It's just this seed that won't grow." So we read this word ashamed. Do you know why Ping might be ashamed of his pot?
He couldn't get the flower to grow.
Yeah. And seems like he's like really good at growing plants. Have you ever felt ashamed of something you've done or couldn't do? We won't talk about that now. Ping's father overheard this and said, "You did your best, and your best is good enough to present to the emperor." Holding the empty pot in his hands, Ping went straight away to the palace. The emperor was looking at the flowers slowly, one by one. How beautiful all the flowers were, but the emperor was frowning and did not say a word. Finally, he came to Ping. Ping hung his head in shame, expecting to be punished. The emperor asked him, "Why did you bring me an empty pot?" Ping started to cry and replied, "I planted the seed you gave me, and I watered it every day, but it didn't sprout. I put it in a better pot with better soil, but it still didn't sprout. I tended it all year long, but nothing grew. So today I had to bring an empty pot without a flower. It was the best that I could do. When the emperor heard these words, a smile slowly spread over his face, and he put his arm around Ping. Then he exclaimed to one and all, "I have found him! I have found the one person worthy of being emperor. Where you got your seeds from, I do not know, for the seeds I gave you had all been cooked, so it was impossible for any of them to grow." So, if he cooked the seeds, how did his friends get flowers and he didn't?
I got other seeds.
Oh.
Theirs weren't cooked.
So, maybe some of his friends might have made a different choice than what Ping made? I admire Ping's great courage to appear before me with the empty truth, and now I reward him with my entire kingdom and make him emperor of all the land. I like this word courage. Do you guys know what courage might mean?
Being brave.
Brave. And if you're being courageous, do you think that would be a hard choice to make? Or was that easy? Or was it easy for Ping to be courageous?
It wasn't easy. It's hard.
After reading my book, I would ask kind of some after reading questions. Did the emperor ask each child to grow a beautiful flower? Well, he actually asked each child to do their best, which is one of the things I love about this book. Is you come away, Ping did his best, and then he was rewarded. What advice did Ping's father give him? That's right. And has anyone ever given you advice like that, to do your best? I think that's definitely an important thing that we use in our class and in our life. And then, can you think of a time when it would be hard to tell the truth? Or why it might be a good idea to tell the truth?
It's always going to get you in trouble if you don't.
It'll always catch up to you. So in our classroom, when we're with our friends, we want to tell the truth and be nice to everyone, and then we'll have a great experience. So my first activity I would do with that book is I would get the class involved with my honesty poster, and I would explain to the class that, you know, one of the themes of his choice is that he was being honest. So if I have any friends that would like to volunteer to come to the board and maybe just write what their definition of honesty would be, feel free. Anyone? You can use some of the words on the word wall here. Thank you. Nice. Thank you. So then I would just go into more depth on our poster and talking about what honesty is, why Ping was honest, the choices he made to, you know, that was a part of being honest, and then his reward that came from that. I think it's also important to cover that telling the truth and having courage, those kind of blend into one. So there are those moments as a teacher when you can't see everything, even though you want to. So this is just kind of instilling in them that decision-making pattern to where on their own they understand, you know, why they are telling the truth or why they're, you know, having appropriate behavior in the classroom without me having to constantly, you know, be on them. So these choices build into that like decision-making process so that they can kind of make good choices on their own. And then along with that, I have these magic boards. This book kind of starts off with the magic pot. And then you know, I would have a couple of them write what honesty is, and then everyone else would have one of these, and then just kind of draw what they think honesty or integrity is, or someone being courageous, you know, something like that. And then of course we have to do a planting activity. So I would allow all my friends to choose who they'd like to work with, and I would give them styrofoam cups and some soil, and then this is a quick, easy, you know, directional sheet on how they can do this activity with scooping the dirt, patting it, poking it, adding water. And then this is also a great tool that would lead into discussions about, you know, why you're taking care of the plants, why you're doing these steps, what would happen if you chose not to do it, or if you chose to. So that's good. My extension activity are these tanograms. This one's pretty cool because it's like a to-go, so I could put this in a reading bag as well. So it just has these little pieces, and then on here are the different animals or different shapes that they can do. So you just move them around, something easy to play with, it's fun, it has endless choices that you can make on what you want to put together. And